The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 8th day of August, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Health Lenders, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. Happy Thursday, good brother.
Good day. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be here again, and I'm up early and back to my schedule before June. And yeah, it's a struggle out there when you haven't jogged in a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because I'm about to start running next week. So I'm going to see how it is. Coming on next year, Hartman. You're going to join me or what?
Ha! Folks, what he means is, am I going to take a substance that's going to make me believe I can do the Bermuda Day half marathon? That's what he means. And unfortunately, I'm going to remain substance free at this point, bro. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You know what? I might consider doing the relay one year. How's that? I mean, I might consider doing the relay. Yeah. But speaking of that, you know what? Speaking of that, I want to know from the audience this morning how many people have actually tuned into the Olympics, right? How many, as we get into the conversation, have you been following the Olympics? Have you been following the Olympics? And real quickly, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Donte Hunt on from the BDC. We're discussing their loans, the micro loans and the loan guarantees that they offer new businesses and small businesses. Daily Play is a name that plays today. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. But let us know, have you been following the Olympics at all? Have you been following the Olympics? Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Thursday, Jamel and Larry. Good to have you back again, Larry. And Charles says in reference to Bermuda Day, he says, wait, you have to start training for Bermuda Day now? Go ahead and try it. I know a guy that started training in January going out the beach, and he never finished the race, right? Everybody's different, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. I know me. I have an attitude. I'm not training, and then on the day I'm going to find out why I should have trained. Yeah. But have you been following the Olympics? Before we get into today's discussion, have you been following the Olympics at all? Karen Simmons says, yes, I have been watching the Olympics. Suzanne Ingham says, no. So I've been following it. It was pretty easy following it in Bermuda because you had different coverage it wasn't just U.S. coverage, which I like about Bermuda. When you don't get U.S. coverage, you get a more balanced. Well, I feel like you get more balance. That may not be true. Others may feel.
I would agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, and so I enjoyed watching while I was in Bermuda when I had a chance. But I have, been following it on Peacock in the U.S. and I must say, this seems like one of the most strange Olympics ever. And I'll tell you why it seems very strange, folks. It seems strange because of what's been rumored to have happened with Sha'Carri Richardson and Fraser Price, Shell and Fraser Price, in terms of not being on the bus, and then Sha'Carri seeming to be off her game. And I'm not making excuses for it. Let me be clear. I'm not making excuses. Larry can speak more to this, right? But apparently being told the rule change, lack of communication, and then Shericka Jackson not appearing in the 200, just pulling out. Now, I don't know what's going on in the track world. I don't know how this happens, what's popping, but I'm gonna be real. It's like when the NBA says they're implementing rules now because players not showing up or playing all the games. I think the public, you know, came to see these players. That's how the NBA views it. Like the people are paying to see it. So I think whoever's responsible for that lack of communication to both Sha'Carri and Charlene Fraser-Price, they owe the public an apology.
Yeah, and to your point, it's been tons of other stories. We had the issue where the triathlon was postponed 24 hours because of the water quality, which
Yeah.
they complained about pre-Olympics. Um, the bedding situation, it was a picture where a gold medalist was sleeping under a park bench because that was more comfortable for him than the sleeping
Accommodation.
arrangements and the accommodations. Yes,
Mhm.
tons of athletes have moved out of the Olympic Village because it just was not good for them, right? As relates to the rule change for Sha'Carri and Kelly and Fraser Price, it took place during the semi-final, before the semi-final, and I think at some point Sha'Carri was able to get some sort of warm up in,
Mhm.
because please believe she did not run 10-8 cold.
Mhm.
And Shelly Ann probably just realized who's older, and we don't know how it affected her mentally. Decided, you know what, I'm gonna pull out.
Mhm.
Sharika Jackson wasn't a surprise because a few weeks ago, I want to say in Hungary, there was a track meet and she pulled up.
Mhm.
Most people in the track world saw that and knew she wasn't gonna be ready. I think
Mhm.
they tried their best, but it just wasn't there. But it's been so many different things that's happened throughout the Olympics in different events, different
Mhm.
issues that it's just like Paris, like what's going on? And someone actually said, you wonder if this would have happened during the Qatar World Cup, it would have been a big story. And that one was probably the best event global,
Mhm.
thing that has happened in recent times, but it's just not being highlighted by the media as much, you know what I mean? And you wonder if France is getting a pass, or Paris rather.
Yeah, yeah. It seems so. It seems so, and I think I'm glad you brought up Qatar because as much criticism as they got for the whole sexuality stuff and all of that, I mean, it was probably one of the best big events we've had in recent times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No violence. They didn't have
Yeah,
to worry about none of that.
outside of Argentina winning, of course. Look, we have to touch on this because it's happened, but the premier of Bermuda, David Burt, named the Minister of Health, Kim Wilson, as the AG yesterday due to the resignation of um, what's her name, Miss Simmons, Carol
Kathy Lynn?
Lynn Simmons. And I guess the question, real quickly, to the audience is: what are your thoughts on uh, Kim Wilson being both the AG and Minister of Health? Like, what are your thoughts on Kim Wilson being both the AG and the Minister of Health?
I don't know. I guess when you say that, I think of I want to say the premier has two. No, at one point, he had two titles, right? Two ministries.
He still does.
He still does? Okay.
No, as the premier and as finance minister, that is kind of two.
Yes. And now we have a second person with dual ministries. And, we have 30 MPs from the government, correct?
Hmm.
And you just wonder, okay, why we can't, basically share the load. Um, it almost kind of wonders, well, what really takes place where you can take two ministries, you know what I mean? So I if it's for the best interest of the country, I get it, or I'm for it, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't think this is a long term thing because the election's possibly coming up sooner, definitely by next year. So maybe this is just and as I saw yesterday, you guys touched with it was only two lawyers, so it kind of had to be one of the two. But something don't sit right with me. I will say that.
Well, I think as someone has said, he could have named a public officer as well. But I think maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I think there's a couple of signs, things that stand out. It seems like the premier may be running out of friends because of 30 people, you give one person two of the most important ministries in Bermuda. I feel like his hand may have been forced. I mean, I agree with what you just said, Larry, in terms of, you know, it's probably temporary, but can Bermuda afford this kind of temporary? Can we afford to have? I mean, let's be honest. I'm not saying this because there's another voice note going around about the minister of health and now AG, but there are those who don't even believe she was effective as a health minister to be able to take over that as well. So what are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Kim Wilson being both the AG and Minister of Health? What are your thoughts on that? Suzanne Ingham says, I think it's a very bad move. She thinks it's a very bad move. Charles H. Jeffers II, he says, with 30 MPs and 5 government senators, this cannot be the final shuffle. Well, I was thinking maybe he was naming her as the AG and then probably gonna appoint someone to the Ministry of Health. Now, that leads to another question is, who do you believe should be the Minister of Health? Who do you believe should be the health minister? Like, who do you think should be the next health minister? Now, it would probably make sense for the junior Minister of Health to kind of go in there, but I don't know if can you name 2 senators in cabinet, and then maybe combine it with Minister Tanae Furbert, because she has, I think, youth and aging or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, a specific person needs to have this ministry, but I think a separation would kind of, these 2 ministries deserve to have its own leader per se. It's not like, oh, we're going to save money. The government doesn't necessarily care about that. We know that. But I think someone that you feel is qualified, because at the end of the day, no, we have to question, if you feel out of 30, you cannot have someone, you have a limited amount of people who you feel qualified, then we may have to go back and look and see who we put in these positions as MPs, right? Or candidates, if they can't perform ministerial duties.
But that goes back to a question I used to always ask. I used to always ask, right? If it was when Dr. Brown was premier, when Dunkley was premier, and as David Burt's been premier, I used to ask this question. All right, who can replace them? And people were like, oh, not this person, not that person. And I'm like, well, who's in your constituency? And they would say, and I say, so you don't think they make a good premier? Oh, heck no. Did you vote for him? Yeah. So why would you vote somebody that you don't believe would make a good premier? The whole point of voting for that person is to represent you in politics. Why are we voting for people that we don't believe have the capacity to lead the country?
Yeah,
that's on us.
Or some form of leadership, like you know what I mean. If it's running a ministry or cabinet, and because are we saying, hey, we voted for him to help with neighborhood issues?
Yeah. I mean, that and again, that sounds all great, but you're voting in people who are going to be in charge of key legislation and policies. You need to make sure it's more than just because they come and shake your hand, kiss your baby and stuff. Come on, it's got to be some sort of intellectual capacity they possess to be able to lead the country if called on. Yeah. So I think that comes down to us. So in saying that, again, out of 30 people, himself included, you've got one person with 2 of the most important ministries in Bermuda being health and the Attorney General. This should concern everyone. So again, what are your thoughts on Kim Wilson being both the AG and Minister of Health, audience? And do you believe there's a certain person within government that should take it over? What are your thoughts on that? Kathy Ann Painter says Kim Wilson is very loyal and the premier knows he can call on. This has to be temporary, but then again, how much work is Minister Wilson going to do before the next election? And Kathy Ann Painter says, sorry, working on being less sarcastic. We appreciate your sarcasm. Don't worry.
At least this morning we do.
Yeah. Michelle White says, Taking on 2 portfolio seats is never a good idea for the individual and their family, as well as the actual ministerial leader. I shouldn't say this, but I did joke around yesterday because someone in the Daily Hour group actually mentioned this, like, the amount of time stuff takes, and I was just like, well, maybe her family doesn't like her. I was joking, but I'm just saying that's a key point that, in fairness to her, like, she's got a family, has, and other things to do. I feel for her. It's a big sacrifice, and I hope that her boss or leader or colleague, David Burt, is not going to put this on her long term if she doesn't want it.
But if anything, like I just keep coming back to, does it take away the importance of being a minister if anyone can do 2?
Mm,
Well,
mm,
not anyone. Clearly, it's not anyone. He's saying certain people can do 2, and it just seems like the focus needs to be one each, right? I'm baffled by this a bit.
yeah. Technically, tourism and transport, those are 2 ministries that are usually been combined. Youth, sport, and culture was always combined. Like, I think it's the importance of these ministries. Like, I think it's more
Kinda
so,
big.
yeah. These are 2 big ministries, that you're.
And with respect to health, we're coming post COVID, all
Mm.
those different things, new things are coming up, different strains or strands. Um, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's questionable. I think people are valid. Again, what are your thoughts on Kim Wilson being both the AG and the Minister of Health? Audience, Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, yes, you can have up to 2 senators in the cabinet. Okay, so maybe he can appoint someone from the Senate to health ministry. But with 30 MPs, you would think someone would be able to take on a ministry. Are we electing leaders or warm bodies? And I think that goes back to Larry's point.
Yeah.
I think if again, this is on the electorate. Why are we voting for people who don't have the capacity to be a minister or a premier or a leader? Like, what are we doing? Well, I can't say we. A reminder, they removed me. So I didn't decide the last election. I just talked about it. Suzanne Ingham says, yes, Larry, something is not right with it. She's not a good health minister. And now, AG, something just isn't right. They are 2 big positions. Yes, Jamal. Curry running out of friends. With 30 there, why select just your right arm people? This whole selection is faulty and suspicious. Look, the numbers are there. Out of 30, yeah.
Do you think some of this 30 kind of feel like, hold on, why aren't I being called on and you're giving this person 2?
I'm sure. There's some who probably have been asked and declined, and I'm sure there are people who sit back there and be like, well, why he didn't offer this to me? Yeah, I'm sure both.
Because if I'm in that 30 and I'm looking around and every time, excuse me, every time something comes available, I get passed, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have an issue.
Yeah.
But that's me.
You would be right to. Yeah, it's like being a player, loyal player to a team, and you're on the bench, you're doing well in training, whatever, and continuously selecting another player who hasn't performed over you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get it. Michelle White says, if anyone can do it, it shouldn't matter who is assigned a portfolio. Just put anyone in the new vacancy. Okay, I think that's what Larry was saying. Renee Simmons says, well, she never had experience in the health ministry, and now 2 of the most important ministries. How temporary is this, as somewhere a ministry will be lacking?
Yeah, I wonder if where the lacking will be. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Kim Wilson being both the AG and Minister of Health? Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, with healthcare reform being talked about for so long, will we ever see it? Well, yeah. That was a big thing right before the pandemic, right? Universal healthcare, right?
Well, it took us, 20 years for a bus schedule, Charles? So um, I'm being, maybe Miss Painter sarcasm is running off on me today.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. But what are your thoughts, audience? At the end of the day, I think the premier had to act fast. I'm not quite sure that he has trust in many of his MPs. Again, it just seems that way. And some may say it's speculation, but let's be honest, people talk. MPs talk. People in caucus talk and Central Committee talk. We know all is not gravy within Alaska Hall. All right. Michelle White says it will be temporary until the election, then it will be permanent. You think? I don't think the premier is ready to call a general election, but again, what do I know? He may say, you know what? I'm not calling another by-election. We're going to the polls. He may drop that writ. Suzanne Ingham says there will be a lot of lacking. It'll be detrimental for us, the people. All right. Didn't I read that already? All right, folks, let's do the Daily Hour news break. And then we've got Donte Hunt. We're going to be talking about micro loans and some of the loan guarantees. Tanya Cheeseman, real quickly, she says it's not possible that no one else stepped forward. Is it not possible that no one else stepped forward and therefore they picked who was willing, warm bodies?
Possible.
Well, that's what we're saying. It seems he's run out of friends. That's what we were saying earlier, Tanya Cheeseman, for the premier to give it to her. I mean, possibly he asked people and they're not interested in being part of his regime, you know? Michelle White says next year is the election. The premier can call an election right now. This ain't the United States. He could call one right now. There's nothing stopping him from calling an election right now. And again, he has a decision to make. I thought that he may have went for it when former Premier Michael Dunkley resigned, because you had the by-election last year for Cole Simon's seat. You had the one for Michael Dunkley this year, and now it's going to be another one. So he can call it. I just don't think that they're ready to do it. But all right, let's do the news break. And after that, we've got Donte Hunt from the BDC. Make sure you share it with your friends and family, folks. Here we go. All right, this is your Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. First up, as we've been discussing, the Honorable Kim Wilson has been given an additional ministry. Yesterday, the acting governor, Mr. Tom Oppenheim, appointed the Honorable Kim N. Wilson, Minister of Health, as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. Premier David Burt said, quote, I wish to thank Minister Wilson for accepting this key appointment, which adds to her already considerable workload as the Minister of Health. I look forward to working with her to advance the government's legislative agenda and continuing our work in building a fairer and better Bermuda, end quote. Yeah, additional responsibilities. I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. Maybe we can reach out to the premier for word on whether or not this is temporary or something long term. In other news, I don't know if you all know, but there's a lot been happening in the UK. A lot of violence, people being attacked, rioting and protesting. Well, the Bermuda London office has a message for Bermudians in the UK. The Government of Bermuda London office advises Bermudians residing in the UK to exercise a heightened degree of caution considering the current riots and public disorder. They are advising Bermudians to please consider the following. Stay informed. Monitor reliable news sources to stay updated with the latest news regarding the riots. Stay vigilant. Avoid known riot locations to minimize risk to your personal safety. Do not engage with rioters. Stay safe. Follow the advisories of your local authorities. In the event of immediate danger, please contact local law enforcement authorities without delay. Stay connected. Ensure your emergency contact numbers are readily available. We encourage you to stay connected with fellow Bermudians. Sharing information and regularly checking in with family and friends can be beneficial. Please be assured that the Government of Bermuda London office remains ready to support Bermudians in the UK with consular needs. If required, we encourage you to contact us directly via londonoffice@gov.bm. And I didn't realize it was so crazy. I was watching the news, or not news, but on Twitter, I was seeing like videos in Sheffield, and there was a young black child being chased by people with knives and stuff. And I was like, I thought they were protesting what was happening in Gaza. So I was very confused. But be safe out there, like they said, don't go outside, man.
And I guess is, you know, if this was the United States, we see it on our news feed more. and whatnot. But I kind of got it through the same way, social media, and just asking. Obviously, it's a bit different because we know a lot more Bermudians in the UK than it's Bermudians in the United States, but it's spread out,
Mhm.
across a bigger space. So, just everyone stay safe.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And well, Janai Parent Chief, last competing Olympian, we have an update on his status. Bermudian triple jumper Janai Parent Chief made his debut in the Olympics. His best effort of 16.23 meters was just shy of the 17.79 mark that would have earned him a place in the finals on Friday. Congratulations to Mr. Parent Chief on his debut and all of those who represented Bermuda in the 2024 Paris Games on to Los Angeles in 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, congrats to Janai. Obviously you get to the biggest stage and you want to have your best performance, and unfortunately he wasn't able to pop one that we know he's capable of doing. But I often tell people to make it to
Mhm.
be just shy of the Olympics is a great feat in itself. And I think sometimes we got caught up in TV and having the expectation that everyone should make the podium or just short of the podium.
Yeah.
So just to make it there is a great accomplishment, and hopefully this experience and the rest of the Bermudians who competed will, they'll be able to come back in 4 years, make it, and we'll have another 8 along with them.
I saw a post, I hope people understand this. Mediocrity isn't just because you don't medal or come first, right? I want us to understand how hard it is. As Kamal said on the show on Tuesday, sorry, how hard it is to stand out there and bat to make 200 runs. Like, people think it's so easy. And I saw a post the other day regarding Sha'Carri Richardson because people were unhappy with a headline that she had to settle for second, right? Said Richardson settles for second, and a bunch of black women took issue with that because why is second in the entire world seen as settling, right? And you may not be a Sha'Carri Richardson fan, but they're right. That's an accomplishment. It's not a settling. And I know a lot of people took issue with the Royal Gazette yesterday with their headline about Janai. They took issue. I get the frustration. And just because it doesn't bother me doesn't mean that people shouldn't be frustrated. Sometimes you have to know your audience, right? You have to know your audience. What would be nice on a headline in maybe Russia or the United States may not work for Bermuda. But I think we have to manage our expectations of amateur athletes, right? We have to manage our expectations. And just because, look, we only as a country got our first gold medal in 2021, right? And that was with Dan Floridafi. Prior to that, we had a bronze through Clarence Hill back in the 70s before I was born, before we were born. So, I mean, St. Lucia through Julian Alfred just won their first 2 medals ever. I think we need to manage our expectations and honestly respect people's accomplishments rather than acting as if someone failed because they were not number one out of 8 billion plus people.
Yeah. And I think the original intent was for amateurism, but now we have a mix of professionals versus amateurism. And at the end of the day, professionals will always have the upper hand on amateur athletes.
Correct.
And I look at Bermuda amateur athletes; they are even at a harder or a bigger disadvantage because if they are not based 100% overseas, it's just an uphill battle.
Yeah. It's interesting. I do, I believe that we can do more as a country to support our local athletes, the amateur athletes. And it's not always about money, sometimes just simple resources. And resources could be, a place to stay while they're training. Some people earn properties overseas, right? Some people have vehicles overseas, they're not using them and they're not, overseas. So that person may be training in the same space. I just think, as a community, if we want to see our people reach the heights, we have to go about doing more than supporting them during when the time they're competing.
Yeah, and when you're watching the TV or you're,
Yeah.
texting around and stuff. It's interesting because our friend Donte Hunt ran track and field at a very high level also, and he would know also the struggles of being an amateur athlete and thinking about going to the next level.
Mm,
It's very difficult. I know people who mortgage houses, their parents' houses.
mhm.
People refuse to take any more of their parents' money, and the public is kind of, how come he ain't done? It's just
Yeah,
not gonna work.
yeah, yeah. It's all interesting. I didn't give a weather report because I don't know what the weather is today, folks. So that's your people's that's your daily hour news break brought to you by
Hot.
people's. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. All right. It's hot. Just I heard somebody was wearing like a Jamie Madison jacket yesterday. Put it away. We got 3 months. Put it away. Put it away. Yeah. What's the day of the year today, right?
Today is, and Hartman, I don't know if you like this one, International Cat Day.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Pet.
folks, I don't like dogs. I might dislike cats even more. But
Yeah.
for the audience, let me know if you have a favorite pet cat growing up, or if you have a current cat, what the name is. And if you like cats, I know Hartman
No.
is a
Keep
dog person,
far away
but
from.
keep them far away from you.
I don't do
Okay,
cats.
cat.
I,
I don't
I
got a cat.
cats are the most arrogant, rude animals. Like look at you up and down and walk off. Like, yeah, go sleep. I'm gonna take care of you. Go sleep. I don't trust them. I don't
Yeah.
trust them.
It's interesting because I told you I was around real quick a dog this past weekend that kind of got friendly, and it was a good dog, Jamal. But I've never been around a cat that just was
Yeah.
nice or yeah.
Yeah. No. I get it. I get it. Or let us know, audience. Any cat people out there? And any of you have cats? We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, and we've got Donte Hunt with us. We're discussing the BDC's Learns program. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
It took 14 days to build your business plan. 6 months to build the courage to leave your day job. 3 weeks to find the perfect location. It took 10 days to outfit your space just right. And 1 day before your first client walked in the door. All totaled, it took you a full year to get your business operational. And this is just the beginning. To the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the people that shape our economic community, we salute you and are here for you every step of the way. BEDC, providing knowledgeable, progressive, professional, and innovative support to Bermuda businesses.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamal Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Before we went to break, we asked the audience, are there cat people or dog people. And Michelle White says, yeah, for kitties, had an albino Persian when I was young named Twinkles. Okay, Twinkles, cat name. Carol says, I'm a dog lover. Cats are horrible animals. Hadley and Swan says, I love cats badly. They sweep me. My goodness. I think cat lovers are the bravest people ever. Suzanne Ingham says, I love cats and dogs. My body doesn't like cats. Dogs, if I had a huge piece of property, I take every dog no one wants. Why wouldn't anyone want a dog? Like, those are just, they make sense. All right. Yeah, Brad.
But I love wildcats, and documentary is one of my watching all the time. Cheetahs and hyenas, so fascinating to me.
Oh, I like them in the wild while I'm watching them, like on TV. Yeah.
I like to own one, but not touch them. All right.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to Kenya later this year, so hopefully I see some big cats. All right, let's bring Donte Hunt in for Daily Hour News Break. You think Donte is a cat person? Or a dog person?
Probably a dog. I don't know.
Like a dog person. I'm good dog. We'll ask him. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome as we find out whether Donte is a dog or a cat person. That's what it's here to discuss.
What up? What up? What up?
What's up? Good brother. What's popping?
Look, man, I'm just excited to be here. And hold on, let me take a little sip real quick.
See, Larry has
harsh.
Larry's been doing this show about 3 years. He still don't have one.
I'm in. Look, I'm excited to be here. I feel like I told you before. I feel like a celebrity being on the Daily Hour.
No, as Larry was saying, you're a track star. You know, you were a track star before you were doing what you do now. Actually, let's go backward. Because we'll get into today's conversation. But sure. What were your specialties in track? What was your discipline?
I was a sprinter, man. I was 100 and 200 initially. Mm-hmm. And then I actually got recruited to NC State Wolfpack, go Wolfpack, for triple jump. So at the end, I think about 15, 16, I started to do triple jump, and I excelled at that. And so, yeah, got a scholarship for that. Still full scholarship. Still did sprinting, but I finished up. I think my best finish at the university was I got a silver in the East Coast Championship, but. I can speak to the challenge of being an amateur, athlete, and very few track and field athletes are pros. I mean, it's hard. It is truly hard to raise that capital, and you have to make that decision. Towards the end of your university sort of stint to say, what am I going to do? Am I going to go out and get go into a career, or am I going to go 100% into track, and not knowing where that revenue is going to come from? So, yeah.
It's interesting because, again, I'm sitting here this morning. I want audience to understand these are two people who were, top athletes in their day, college scholarships and the like. And I said earlier, I don't think people understand how hard it is to be that number one. And we've been privileged to have many people who have competed for Bermuda in athletics this year. That people just didn't know their story. And so I feel like the pressure for such a small country, especially in the social media age, the pressure we put on our athletes is unfair due to a lack of understanding. So when you guys speak like this, I really appreciate what you say, and that hope that we can share this information so that people can manage their expectations and actually respect and celebrate the accomplishments that, Janai was 28th yesterday. That's 28 in the world, like 8 billion people, right? Like, I have to put things into context. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that, Donte.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into today's conversation, man, because there's so much more to you, right? But tell the audience a bit about your background and what it is you do at the BDC.
So I'll jump right in. Yeah, I'm the director of the micro, small, and medium enterprise unit at the BEDC, Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. I love what I do. I'm an entrepreneur, and we support entrepreneurs. We do everything entrepreneurship. And what does everything mean? So my unit, we're the front of the BEDC. We actually speak, touch, commiserate, celebrate with entrepreneurs firsthand. That involves business advice, free business, confidential business advice. We have we provide education, entrepreneurship education through multi-week courses, seminars, webinars. We also have financial products, and that's what we're going to get into today. Entrepreneurs need capital. Capital is king, and so what we have is we have a microloan, and we have a loan guarantee. We'll talk about that in just a few almost now. But if you're an entrepreneur and you have an idea, what you have to do is become a member of the BDC. It's free. Why? Because we will support you through the journey, and the journey can be perilous. The journey can be tough. The journey can be very tough, but we help mitigate those risks because most of us, if not all of us, at the BDC are entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So let's get into it. And the microloan ban. I'm sorry, the microloan that the BDC offers.
Yeah.
What is it?
So the microloan is it's a loan. It's a direct loan from the BDC. We provide up to 30,000 at this point. The interest rate is great. It's 5%. It's 5%, but it's 4% in the economic empowerment zones. You may have heard of economic empowerment zones. We have 4 of them right now in Bermuda, 1 in St. George's, Somerset, Northeast Hamilton, and Southeast Hamilton. If you don't know the geographic area, go to the website, our website, www.bedc.bm, and take a look. You'll find it. You'll see see the geographic area of those locations. But in the EEZs, the interest rate is 4.5%.
Interesting.
The term, the length is up to 5 years. So if you have a loan calculator, you can see what your monthly payments would be. So 30,000, up to 30,000, interest rate between 4.5 and 5%, and the maximum term of 5 years. Now, 5% is, now let's give you an understanding of what 5% is compared to the bank. So if you go to the bank, you're looking at anywhere from 8% and up. So you got 3% difference, and that's massive. And that could be, those cost savings can really, really help.
Yeah, and once you said that, I said 4.5%. I was thinking, well, what
Yeah, yes.
So
Yeah.
it definitely makes a difference. But what is the loan guarantee, and how does it differ from the microloan?
Okay, so the loan guarantee are for entrepreneurs that need a little bit more, a lot more, a little bit or a lot more than 30,000. So the loan guarantee is the BDC acting as a guarantor. So we join you on that loan. The guarantee is up to 75%, maximum 300,000, and that is a powerful. It becomes a powerful asset for entrepreneurs who say they need 300,000 for something, and the bank, as you know, wants 100% collateral. They do not want to take any risk. So. And it becomes tough for entrepreneurs who are up in those higher amounts. They need that higher amount to find this collateral. So the BDC comes on board and joins you in that loan.
Real quickly, audience, if you have any questions or comments for Donte Hunt, please send them through. We'll get through as many questions as we can. But this is fascinating so far. My mind's going. Go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
We talked about the micro loan and now the loan guarantee. What's the process for then applying for a loan from the BDC?
Yes. Okay. So our underwriting is no different, very similar to, I say no different, very similar to the banks. So we're going to look for a business plan. We're going to look for financials. Depending on the stage of your business, we're going to look for either just projections. That's for a startup company because you don't have existing financials. But if you are an existing business, we're going to look for previous or actual financials going back, say, 12 months or more. In terms of the business plan, a lot of entrepreneurs, and to be entrepreneurs, they get very, very, scared about the word business plan. What we've done is we provide a business plan profile. So it's basically a fillable PDF where we ask you the exact questions we need to do the analysis. So it's just question and answer. And actually, it's great practice. You then understand what, say, a bank or an investor is kind of looking for by filling out our template. The other bits are, we're going to look at your personal financial situation. Don't get too bogged down by that, but we have to do it so we understand where you're at personally, just in case if there is a default. There are other bits and pieces, admin references and whatnot, but I think the key definitely is focus on the business plan and the financials. There is, and even when I say that, I know individuals, because I speak to them all the time, Donte, I don't know financials. I don't know how to write a business plan. One, we have the template, but two, this is where the education that we provide comes into place. For instance, we have QuickBooks 101 coming down the pipeline, I think within the next month. It's a 4-week course where we go through QuickBooks. QuickBooks is the #1 accounting software. And so by the end of that course, you've increased your financial literacy. You understand financial statements, you understand how to read them more, and just as importantly, you are able to actually do your financials, which is key for any business. Doing your financials, executing your financials on a daily or weekly basis is key. Why is it key? Well, one, it provides you with management information at any one time. Financials is the driver for making decisions. And two, if you need financing, banks, investors, the BDC, we are going to want definitely financials. And so we have other courses like Entrepreneurship 101, Think Like an Entrepreneur. So that's the mindset. That's all wonderful, great courses. My team facilitates many, all of them. And we absolutely love doing it. I love hanging out with entrepreneurs because we're a very, very cool, strange bunch. But yeah.
I love everything what you said, especially the loan guarantee. I know, there's this something when we first started the show, someone said, it's always interesting how easy it is to get a loan to go to college, but a loan to start a business is much harder. So I think that is very strategic, and I hope that it does put people in a position where they feel a bit more secure going and getting what's needed to, for the foundation of their business, along with the various courses that you offer. Because Donte, we've had people on this show. We had a particular person on this show when we first started, and we've had others who followed, and they've like, my business didn't work out because I'm a chef. I'm not a marketing person. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not this and that. Knowing that they're not an accountant, right? Knowing the BDC helps with that kind of stuff is really beneficial. But what are the, I guess, prerequisites, for someone who is applying for a loan? And what I mean is, people get denied for loans every day. Like, what's a scenario where someone may be denied or rejected, and what can they do to fix that if they are denied or rejected?
Yeah, great question. And so when people apply to us for a microloan or loan guarantee, we see that as an opportunity, one, to provide that capital and to help that business succeed, but two, to provide education. So I like to say, I don't decline applications. It's a not right now. And why is that? Because when we do the analysis, we're looking to see if the business is going to be able to sustain the monthly payments. And we can quickly, maybe over some time, but the process, we try to keep it to about 2 weeks, depending on the responsiveness of the applicant. But, if you have not done your research, in terms of the market, the industry that you're in, your pricing, the location, we can tell through our analysis. And so what we do, we just don't say, hey, no, we don't like your application. We will talk you through it and give you the exact reason why we feel that it's not right now. I also like to think that we're here to protect you as the entrepreneur. We're not ogres who are saying no because, we don't feel like it today. We are saying, guess what? We want to protect you from a potential loss, from being in debt to us and to others, because we feel that at this stage, you are not prepared, or your business is not prepared to make the monthly payments and succeed. And that's okay if that's the situation, because now you know, and you know how to correct it. That is by what we call lifelong learning. Going out, getting some education, figuring out what you need to do in order to ensure that you succeed.
I actually like that approach because you're not putting someone in a position where it's not going to be good for you and obviously not going to be good for them. You know what I mean? Why tell someone, oh, I'll give you $50 and they're not going to be able to make $50 back over that time period.
Right, exactly. So I care less. My boss will probably beat me up for this. I care less about, like the money not being returned. Yes, I do. It is important. It's taxpayers' funds. I feel more so for the entrepreneur because I am one, and I felt that sting of loss, of being in debt. Right. So that's what we're doing. Right. So and after the process, I want to say that our clients understand the decline. They might be heartbroken because you understand entrepreneurs see their idea and they feel their idea. They live their idea. It becomes their baby, their child. And when they're told that their child is ugly or you know what I mean? But sometimes the idea the child is ugly and you just gotta, you kind of say it, but so I do care, and they have lives, and these entrepreneurs have lives, and I do not want them to be to not succeed and go through that pain.
It sort of reminds you of the show. I want to get it right. Is a Shark Tank with the this man who up there, and it's called like, look, we're stopping you from yourselves. You need to go back, do a bit of work, and come back to us.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a not right now. And guess what? Become a member, come to some of our courses, talk to us. You can meet with us. We do it virtually, as well as in office. Meet with us for an hour. It's free. And you can do it as many times as you can find a space. And we provide business advice daily, right? I've talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I love it. I love talking to entrepreneurs. Because they're passionate, and I'm passionate about what I do and entrepreneurship. So
Indeed. Well, Michelle White, she says, anyone afraid of the accounting side of running a business and therefore don't want to start, BDC has resources to help you. And she says the relationship with BDC is like having a trusted advisor. Russell,
100%.
Not a question, just wanted to compliment the today's color scheme in the backgrounds, gentlemen. Yeah, somebody else said it. Renee even said this is awesome. Lavender, teal, and orange. Yeah, if all guests can, Donte, you got to speak to our other guests about backgrounds, man.
Yeah, I had it done up last night, right? Painted it. Remember we talked about the color scheme, man? Remember?
Yeah,
we did. Folks. This is what we do when we prepare. No, trust me, if all guests can do this, it'll be great. But Donte, let's just remind people. There are so many people with ideas, man. I love, like you said, I love entrepreneurs as one. I was surrounded by them. Larry may not see himself as one, but he is when he has the time to run his business and train young people. We've got Sancho on the show. We've got Mia. Phil's doing his thing. So we've got a lot of people, and this audience includes a lot of people as well. So where can people go if interested in learning more? Like your website, give you a call? Like what's the set?
Go to the website, bdc.bm. That's where you are going to see the plethora of resources that we have. You will see the microloan, you will see the loan guarantee, you will see some of the incentives in the economic empowerment zones. from customs duty deferment to payroll tax relief. We do have a new startup payroll tax relief product where you get a year of tax relief from the employer side, which is huge. The EEZ startup tax relief is 2 years. I'm getting a little in the detail, but we have so much support. Through the website, you can set up business advice. We have a calendar. You can pick who you want to sit down and chat with. You'll see our courses on our website, and most importantly, or just as important as all of that, is the membership. Become a member of the BEDC. It's free. There is some incentives, and we're creating partnerships all the time for our members. Coming down the pipeline, we have a partnership with ZipX that is going to be pretty huge for entrepreneurs. We have a partnership with Cox Hallett Wilkinson. That's the legal side. So if you want to incorporate your business, there's some discounts there. So become a member. It's free. Just explore the resources that we are so happy to share with you.
Couple more questions from the audience. Mark Arthur C. Phillips is asking, this is actually a good question. Mr. Hunt, do you feel some companies should invest in an accountant?
Yes, I do. But many startups, many businesses can't afford it. That is the challenge. Having your financials executed is a must. It's if you have a business right now, you've been operating and you're hearing me and you're like, I have not been doing my financials. Well, you gotta start. It's no if, buts, or maybes. Now, if you can afford it, here's what you got to do. You can take our course, or you can do what I did, which is self-learning. I went to the University of Google and YouTube, and and that's how I've done everything. When back in the day, I'm 46, almost 47 now. Back in the day, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 15, but I was making my own mistakes, and I isolated myself. And many entrepreneurs do this. We get an idea, we ain't talking to nobody. We isolate ourselves in our proverbial dungeon, and we just try to figure it out. And that's not the way to do it. Get into a network, get with other entrepreneurs. But the point is, self-learning, it can be tough, but you gotta do it. Come talk to us. I can guide you. There's others on my team that can guide you to becoming financial literate. Financial literacy is key.
Indeed. We have another question. Rosalind Famous asking, how many resources are available to Bermudians living abroad? Like, do you work with entrepreneurs, Bermudians overseas?
Yes, we talk to Bermudians overseas all the time. They'll call, they have some questions, naturally. Now, the business has to be located in Bermuda to take advantage of many of the resources and of the other products that we have. For instance, the microloan, the loan guarantee, the business has to be in Bermuda. Naturally, for the loan guarantee, it has to be in Bermuda because you got to go to a local bank. We have relationships with the local banks, and the local banks are not. They're giving funds to companies in Bermuda. So if your business is, brick and mortar abroad, it's hard to take advantage of some of those things. Will we talk to you and then give you advice? Of course we will. But there are individuals who are abroad who we chat with, and they have an online business, right? And so they might be abroad, but their online business, they can be anywhere, right? So we can support in that capacity. Indeed.
Well, Donte, another awesome conversation. Appreciate you. Just remind people how they can get in touch with you. BEDC.bm.
BEDC.bm. That's where you're going to get us. 292-5570. That's 292-5570 if you want to give us a shout. But BEDC.bm, hit it up now, and check out what we got. Become a member.
All right. Donte, thank you so much, brother.
Man, appreciate it. All right.
Thank you for coming this early.
Yeah. Got me out of my bed. You know I'm up already. I
know.
hit the gym. I'm ready. Got my coffee.
See, there you go. Got his mug. Appreciate you, good brother. Talk to you soon.
Yes, guys. Take care. Peace. Appreciate it.
Donte Hunt, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. I want to say something. I meant to say it just now, Donte, as well. Mark's question about the accountant. I'll tell you what I did. To that question, do you feel some companies should invest in an accountant? Like Donte said, they're expensive. So what I did was offer shares of the company to the person that became the accountant. That's the easiest way because the shares over time will be able to pay. So there's ways to do it, but yeah, I would say you need an accountant, and a lot of people. If it's one thing I've learned about business, 6 years, as LinkedIn has reminded me in BCG, is you cannot do everything on your own. We'll be right back after this to wrap it up and the daily play. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workbook for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right. Thanks again to Donte Hunt and the BDC, one of our favorite partners to work with. Thank you. And folks, if you know someone who has a business or is thinking about business and could use the help, tell them check out bdc.bm. But if you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, especially those who are entrepreneurs or considering entrepreneurship. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Windows, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a regular basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. New episode will be available next Monday. Bermuda Trivia, the game, is actually available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Larry, it is a Name That Place today. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Oh, okay. What was the Indian city of Mumbai formerly known as?
I know this. Bombay.
Seems you drink a lot of gin, huh?
That stuff was nasty.
I never had it, but he got it, folks. He didn't give you a chance. He did not give you a chance. But all right, let's wrap up today's show. Obviously, conversation about amateur athletes, the Minister of Health and AG, and then the entrepreneur conversation with Donte. A lot to cover today.
Yeah, amateur athletes, folks, just realize that a lot is needed, and I would like the powers that be really like to get them all together to get it right. I think they need more support. So when you see an amateur athlete trying and going, just give that extra bit of support, that extra word, it will help. The minister holding two portfolios at once, what are we paying for? You know what I mean? We got 30 MPs, Senate members. You think that we can split that up? And it just has me thinking it has to be an election coming soon, because it can't be long term. And the conversation with Donte and the BEDC, I think it was awesome. Just another avenue. People often talk about the banks aren't for you and whatnot, and now you have a group that is trying to listen to you, trying to work with you, and be that person that you can lean on. And he talked about a lot of things. That loan guarantee for someone is huge because you have someone that's backing you, right? So kudos to them and continue with the great work.
Yeah, indeed. I'll say this much about the amateur athlete situation in the Olympics. I think that we have to manage our expectations, but also, as I mentioned earlier, and I hope people take on what I said and share it. But our athletes need support, and again, yes, financial support is important. But if an athlete's training in a certain part of the U.S. where you may know someone, it may not even be you, who may have an apartment or a vehicle or just resources that can help that person, let's do that. Let's help them. We know that Bermuda doesn't necessarily have the resources for many of our athletes to train year round, so I think that there's ways that we can support them. So think about that. As far as the Minister of Health and now the AG having both portfolios, it has to be temporary, and although she's accepted it, I feel for her. Because those are two important ministries, and the pressure that she's under to deliver is probably a bit unfair. So hopefully it's short term, and there, someone throws their hat in the ring to take over one of those positions. And Donte, as I said, I think I love entrepreneurship. I love waking up every morning and feeling like I'm making a difference in people's lives through entrepreneurship and being able to support myself as well. But it's not easy. We all need help. No entrepreneur does it on their own. Believe that. No one can do it on their own. And I think the sooner we realize that, the better off we'll be, because then you'll see people actually growing companies and having some sort of longevity. So I'm hopeful that the information shared by Donte at the BDC was helpful for people. And if you need their assistance, you can reach out and receive it. Larry, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. And this is from legendary USA track and field sprinter Carl Lewis. It's all about the journey, not the outcome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never heard him say that, but I said to someone last month, enjoy the process, man. If you're only thinking about the outcome, the pressure you're putting on yourself is unfair. Enjoy that journey.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed. All right, folks. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a great and a safe day. We are out. Peace.